Should India fully adopt IFRS? Answer is absolutely no. Do I expect India to adopt IFRS at any time in the future? Answer is no. Do I expect IFRS itself to remove those choices that exist within the same standard over time? The answer is absolutely yes. I do expect IFRS itself to become, clearer. So I see over time IFRS becoming more similar to the new Ind AS. Three things. One, recognize that it is happening. It's a matter of when, not if it's happening. There is a lot of other change that is happening at the same time. The entire New Companies Act has come in with its own requirements. Auditors will have to be rotated. You're adopting the Indian version of SOX, the Internal Financial Controls documentation and attestation. GST will come in at some point. There's these new ICDS standards. Then of course you have your business challenges. So I think there is a lot that is changing, and India will go through a tectonic shift as far as financial reporting, the entire financial regulations that apply to a company in the next 3 odd years, and therefore build resources, start early, upskill the training of those resources, understand and create awareness internally that this is not a finance department problem. Everybody from the CXO. Everybody in the leadership CXO level within the company needs to be aware of what's happening, because it's going to impact the way the financials look like, and therefore investors need to be aware, bankers need to be aware, shareholders need to be aware, even customer suppliers need to be aware, which direction the company will adopt. So therefore, it's about creating that awareness internally. About upskilling the talent within the company, and therefore there needs to be a very strong training plan that backs any external help that comes in. There needs to be a very strong plan to, if that training you don't think you can upskill current resources, to bring in resources into the company that will have a good understanding of Ind AS to supplement the internal capabilities. So I think it's not about, and lastly as I said, the saving you would make in paying an external consultant 50 lakhs versus 40 lakhs is not what companies should be looking at. It is a real opportunity for companies to differentiate, but also a real threat that if you do not do things early enough, then you could end up in a situation where you will have significant surprises when you adopt Ind AS, and significant challenges that you would actually even struggle to report your Q1 numbers next financial year. So my view on the timelines of adoption really are, India's, as I said, going through a tectonic shift. There are a lot of changes happening in India, but we're trying to compress too many regulations on industry together at the same time. Yes, I know there will be some loss of credibility if we relook at this deadline again, and I'm not suggesting we should relook at the deadline. I think we should give companies the choice to adopt Ind AS at any time they like, because there will be a period of the next 5 years where there'll be some companies who are on Ind AS, some companies who are on Indian GAAP. So look at it, next year you'll have a company who has 480 crores net worth, which will be on Indian GAAP, and a company which has 520 crore net worth, which will be on Ind AS, and its entire subsidiaries, joint ventures, parents, so there will be multiple gaps in India for the foreseeable future. We have to recognize that, and therefore what we should do is say there is a long stop date of say 2020, 1st April 2020, by when we would like all companies in India of certainly a certain size to be on this common standard of Ind AS. Before that, we give companies the choice. If you see the benefit of being more aligned to global norms, because you want to raise global capital, because you have global operations, because you see the benefit of doing this early, we give companies the choice to adopt Ind AS early. Remember, for tax purposes, in any case there is a different ICDS standard, so it doesn't impact what tax you collect. I think it's really we need to be realistic. Companies will be dealing with GST implementation, something that actually is beneficial to India. It's going to help make India a single market, help the Prime Minister's objective of and what should be everyone's objective of helping ease of doing business within the country. and therefore that's where the efforts need to go of industry, along with of course efforts to revive businesses with the hopeful upswing in our economy. Efforts should not go on adopting regulations, and there are already lots of regulations to adopt when companies believe there may be no benefit.